The Hunter Biden toothache, ouch, just won't go away for the White House. The New York Times is still digging into his business dealings and whether he benefited from the improper use of federal government resources. In an article entitled "Gray Lady Ain't Done with Hunter Yet," Politico is reporting the paper is suing the State Department to get emails between the president's son and the Romanian embassy that were sent between 2015 and 2019. The Times is taking legal action after saying agency officials refused to release the documents it requested under the Freedom of Information Act in a timely manner. The New York Post's Miranda Devine, who has been on Hunter's trail from the start, says she believes this will go beyond the president's son now.
At some point, I think probably when the Republicans take back the House and the Senate, there will be an accounting. And the Republicans have promised that there will be subpoenas sent to Hunter Biden and his uncle Jim Biden, Joe Biden's younger brother. And they will have access subpoena powers and so on. And we also know that the FBI, who knows what will happen with that, but they are investigating both Hunter and Jim Biden now.
Raymond Arroyo, Fox News contributor and Focus Now. Raymond, let's really make it clear why this is so critically important that we know what then the son of a vice president, now the son of a president, is doing with foreign governments and businesses.
Well, look. In 2016, we have to go back to that time period, Harris, Hunter was representing a shady Romanian real estate tycoon who was in some trouble with the law. So he took it upon himself to reach out to the U.S. envoy to Romania. Now, that would be the envoy that worked for his then father, Vice President Biden. Hunter also enlists former FBI Director Louis Freeh to help plead the case. Freeh then makes a donation of $100,000, Harris, to the Biden Grandchildren's Trust. So there are lots of very interesting and odd payments, in exchange for influence peddling around the edges. This may be the least of Hunter Biden's crimes when you consider China and Ukraine, but the Romania situation does invite scrutiny because you have so many parties coming in, and you do have at its center corruption at a time when the vice president, Hunter's father, is trying to beg the Romanians to enact anti-corruption measures in their country. In fact, he says at one point in 2014, Joe Biden does, that corruption is a cancer and it whittles away at the faith in a democracy. Well, this corruption is also a cancer, and it has to be ferreted out and scrutinized. And I'm glad the New York Times is doing this, Harris. Remember, when this laptop first broke, they said it was Russian misinformation.
Look,
well, as often turns out, it's misinformation. And it's time we take a good look at it.
Covered the laptop, if you even mentioned it in social media, Twitter stickered us. If you tagged a New York, if you tagged an article on it, you got stickered, and a threat comes with that sticker, like, do it again, you're gone. Now the New York Times, others are looking into this. It is fascinating how things shift. Well, even all we're doing is trying to get to the facts. All right, I want to get to this. Be patient with me. One thing, Raymond, let's go here. The new Monmouth University poll suggests most Americans say they believe it's time to accept COVID as a fact of life, learn to live with it. 70% say they're ready to move on. Former top Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway sums it up this way. Let's watch.
They're willing to get used to COVID. They're not willing to get used to Joe Biden and the way his team handles COVID. Our kids, the mental health effects, the isolation, everything we're doing to them, that part bothers me the most.
However, at the White House, mandates remain the status quo.
The president's view is that right now we still need to keep our heads down and stay at it to fight what is still, surging in parts of the country. But we do have the tools to get to a point where it does not disrupt our daily lives.
That is what we call the tale of two opposites.
Well, look, when you look at these polls, the Kaiser poll, 75% of Americans say they're done with this pandemic. And I love now the governor of New Jersey came out yesterday, and after all his lockdowns and masking up of children, he said, well, we have to learn to just live with this. Well, welcome to the real world, Governor. The rest of the country has already moved on and is living with this. And if you look at places like Florida and Texas and Montana, they've already bounced back. The job market has rebounded already, while these blue states are dragging behind because of the lockdowns, because of these onerous COVID measures. Look, you have to take this with all of it and say, what is the cumulative negative impact on our children, on our economy, and factor in the public health aspect, and let people take responsibility for their own lives. Many states have done that. They are surging ahead. These other states, sadly, are being left behind, and you see the economic carnage and the social and personal carnage that it's wrought.
Another poll, because you mentioned a couple there, finds that President Biden has lost major ground on his handling of the pandemic. His approval dropping now 19 points from January of last year. And Washington, well, we'll get to that in a second. I do want to ask you about this, though, because 1 million people now have died in this country from COVID-19. And we mourn mightily for the Americans that we lose, that we've lost. But throughout all of it, the White House has not tied its ability through everything it's doing to slow that number down. When, Raymond, you and I both remember a few months ago when the President of the United States said he probably couldn't prevent all those deaths, no matter what they did.
Right. Well, look, it's a virus. It's a virus and it's a reality. And you have to leave it to the medical professionals, but they should have moved more forcefully on therapeutics.
Testing. Absolutely.
Yeah, they had other options that they were unwilling to move forward on. It was all vaccines all the times, and the vaccines proved to be leaky in many cases. So we're where we are, but what I love about the moment is you have finally not this isn't an enlightenment, this is a political reckoning that you see from some of these governors, and they realize, wait a minute, we can't keep on like this, we can't live like this. So the reality has hit, and eventually it will hit the White House, too.
Yeah, well, that makes the White House, the old phrase, leading from behind, because the American people are out front. We've done the surviving, the suffering, the everything. We're out front with, we got to learn to live with this, and they're back here going, what do they say? Raymond Arroyo in Focus, thank you very much. Thanks for being with me today. Always.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.